and take up those items for which authors have waived presentation. And we'll start with file item SB 835 by Senator Strickland on government reorganization. To the members of the public, is there testimony in favor of SB 835? Testimony in favor of SB 835 on government organization. Is there opposition testimony? Finance, do you have a comment?
Madam Chair, I do not have a file on this measure.
All righty. Seeing no testimony, without further comment from the members, we'll send that item to suspense. SB 835 goes to suspense. Next item up is SB 1136 by Senator Cox, revenue limits on education finance. And Senator Cox has waived presentation. To members of the public, is there testimony in favor of SB 1136 by Senator Cox? Is there testimony opposed to 1136? Finance, do you have a comment?
No file, Madam Chair.
All righty. Without comment from the members, then we'll send that item to suspense. Next is SB 918 by Senator Pavley on water recycling. Is there testimony in favor of SB 918? Is there opposition testimony to SB 918? Finance, do you have a comment?
No, Madam Chair.
All righty. Without objection, that goes to suspense. Next item by Senator Pavley is SB 1006, Natural Resources and Climate Change. Is there testimony in favor? Is there opposition testimony? Finance, do you have a comment?
I do have a file on this item.
Well, jump right in.
The Natural Resources Agency estimates that the bill would require one position and $200,000 to implement the program, assuming they were able to gather the data from existing public domain. If the development or purchase of data were required, the cost could be significantly higher.
All righty. Without objection, then that item by Senator Pavley, SB 1006, goes to suspense. Next item, which is presentation has been waived by Senator Huff, is SB 890, Business Master License Center. Is there public testimony in favor of SB 890? Is there beg your pardon? 980. Oh, okay. SB 980 is under discussion. Is there testimony in favor? Is there opposition testimony? Finance, do you have a comment?
The bill would have unknown but likely significant costs to the 18 departments specifically identified in the measure. And additionally, we anticipate that the State and Consumer Services Agency would likely incur at least $10 to $20 million to develop costs to develop the required information technology system.
All righty. Without further discussion, then that item will also go to suspense. That was SB 890 by Senator Huff. Next is SB 1153 by Senator Hancock. It's on sustainable energy zones. Is there testimony in favor? Is there opposition testimony? Seeing none, Finance, do you have a comment?
We don't anticipate that there would be any cost to the Energy Commission.
All righty. Without objection, that item goes to suspense. That's SB 1153 by Hancock. Next is, Senator Leno, would you like to present Senator Wiggins' bill?
I would like to.
All righty. Do we have enough people here? Senator Leno, we might want to wait until there's a full complement of members. All right. If members of the Appropriations Committee could come to room 4203, would help us complete the file. We still have 2 or 3 items to vote on. Yes. We have another item by Senator Wiggins, and she had waived presentation on it. That is SB 1129 on the Sonoma Developmental Center. Is there testimony in favor of SB 1129, the Sonoma Developmental Center? Is there public testimony opposed to SB 1129? Seeing none, Finance, do you have a comment?
I do not.
All righty. Without any objection, then SB 1129 goes to suspense. We'll come back to her other item. Senator Correa has 2 items, SB 1099, foster care funds subsidies. Is there testimony in favor of SB 1099? Good. Come on up, folks. Yep, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Are you ready to speak?
Yes, I am, Madam
Go right
Chair and
ahead.
Senators. Thank you for the consultants' in-depth analysis of Senate Bill 1099, but I would like to clarify 3 points in the consultants' analysis, and I'll be brief with the points.
Thank you.
The first one is to clarify the TANF MOE backfill. This is not related to the money stipulated in Senate Bill 1099. The TANF MOE backfill refers to alternate payment monies. The Senate Bill 1099 provides additional funding for state and general preschool funds. There's no monies from the MOE backfill. There's about $500 million in pure state funds in child development that has nothing to do with the TANF monies here. Second point of clarification is that it refers to the DSS workload, and the systems are currently in place with Department of Social Services for payments and claims. And lastly, Senate Bill 1099 allows for 56% of funding from Title IV-E monies, federal monies, that would be helping to support the children that are most at risk, with only 44% having to come from CDD state monies.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Next, please.
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Cindy Albertson. I'm the Executive Director of Hands Together Center for Children. And we support Senate Bill 1099 because, as Ms. Center said, it leverages the funds. It doesn't take from our CDD funding. It actually enhances it. The counties no longer have the funding available in their budgets to place these at-risk children in child care. The children can actually wait for 6 to 8 months before they're placed in child care, jeopardizing a lot of things. And we're in support of it, and we think it's the best return on investment that you can make with nominal state or county output. Budget-wise, it's all federal support money that would come into our state. Approximately $300 million if we utilize it at maximum capacity. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Senators. My name is Lisa Dorjinsky-Simon, Executive Director of the Child Care Amenity Group. Senate Bill 1099 will allow CDD contracted agencies to serve more children receiving child protective services and additional children at risk of receiving child protective services. Currently, there are numerous children on the centralized eligibility list. In Orange County alone, there are over 12,000 children. The state is already providing these services to this population. This money will allow the state to provide additional services to additional population. According to the Social Services Agency Fiscal Manager, Senate Bill 1099 does not cause any additional work for CDSS, as it is already on the current claim form being used. Senate Bill 1099 will enable us to draw down federal monies to allow more children to be served. I urge you for an aye vote.
Thank you. Any further testimony in favor of SB 1099? Is there opposition? I see no opposition. We'll continue to work with you on this while it's in suspense. There is a question as to whether we'll wind up double counting some of the TANF maintenance of effort money, and we need to clarify that counties won't back out of their commitment to foster care. So there are some important fiscal issues that have to be ironed out.
Absolutely.
But we appreciate you taking the time to testify.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you guys' consideration. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Finance?
I don't have a file on this measure.
Alrighty. Without objection, then SB 1099 goes to suspense, and the next one is SB 1300, Teen Dating Violence Prevention Program. Is there testimony in favor? All righty. That's all right. We'll wait for you. Don't run. Anyone else who's going to testify on this? There's 3 chairs up here, so please fill them up. This is Senator Correa's wave presentation. This is SB 1300 on teen dating violence prevention. Please go ahead and give us your testimony and your name.
Thank you. Dawn Kepke with McHugh & Associates on behalf of Crime Victims United of California in support, and it's largely for policy reasons, so I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Next, please.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Senators.
A little bit louder.
Madam Chair, Senators, my name is Andrew Keller on behalf of San Francisco Unified School District. We're in support of this measure. From a fiscal perspective, we appreciate the flexibility this offers in terms of block grants. We think it's an important issue for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Anna Hasselblad with ACOG, American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. We are supportive of school education for, in regards to domestic violence. We urge your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Stephanie Needze with Planned Parenthood Affiliates of California. We actually have a supportive amended position. We are very supportive of the intent of the bill, but we're very concerned that the parental notification requirement will actually be too costly and too burdensome for schools to comply with. Should that be removed, we would be happy to support this bill. And I am also here authorized for CalCASA. They also are a supportive amended. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alrighty. Is there any other? Okay. Would you please remain seated? Senator Weiland has a question.
I think it's probably one of the other folks, though, who can answer.
All right.
best.
They'll come back up then, Senator.
My question is that the bill also requires the state board to incorporate teen dating violence and sexual violence curriculum into the health curriculum framework. How is that specified? Because I assume you represent Planned Parenthood, right?
I do.
Yeah, I know what your issue is.
Do any of the witnesses have an answer to Senator Weiland's question? All righty. I don't.
Okay. We'll find that out later.
We'll ask the author then.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam.
Is there testimony opposed to SB 1300? And tell us your name.
Good afternoon, Lisa Fujie Parks. I'm with the California California Partnership to End Domestic Violence. And we're a statewide membership organization representing over 150 domestic violence service providers, which offers a unified voice on legislation that affects domestic violence victims and their children. And we've attempted to work with the author's office, but unfortunately, we, along with two other agencies that are leading the way to address teen dating violence in California and nationwide, and that is Break the Cycle and Peace Over Violence, we are all opposed to SB 1300 unless our recommended amendments are undertaken. An aspect of the bill which unfortunately I think many agencies do not quite understand is Section 32234, which would require schools to divert staff time and other resources away from educational needs to notify parents of their right to review teen dating violence prevention education materials when parents already have this right, and this education is already occurring without this notification. My agency very conservatively estimates that Section 32234 would require schools to notify parents 14 days in advance of approximately 4,165 educational sessions, which are currently delivered free of cost to schools to help them meet their obligation to create safe learning environments for their pupils. So we recommend two amendments. One is to remove Section 32234, and then secondarily to remove problematic language which at the moment equates dating violence prevention education with sexual health education, which it is not.
Thank you very much. Anything else? All right. We appreciate your testimony. And, ma'am, you want to take a seat here? Senator Weiland.
I think this is a really important issue.
Absolutely.
I guess I'm perplexed why you would not support something that addresses this issue when there's nothing right now. And I understand. Why don't you? I understand the notification part because I personally believe there's another agenda there, and I think we all know what that is. But what about? Why wouldn't you? Why are you concerned about the equation? There's at school we have bullying, which is rampant. We removed from the code that deals with education on sexual health a portion that specified that young people would be taught how to resist peer pressure, which seemed to be a really good thing. That was removed. Why wouldn't you want something that deals with this issue?
So without SB 1300, there's a great deal of prevention education that currently occurs at schools free of at no cost to the schools. If SB 1300 passes without the amendments, it will lead to a decrease in the amount of prevention education that pupils are able to receive.
But it isn't mandated. You mean it sometimes occurs. And see, the reason I ask the other question is what is really different about this is, and it is a big deal because I'm sure that my guess is research shows that when there is that violence, it goes right on all the way through to spousal and all the rest of it. But see, with this mandate's curriculum.
There's 2 points I'd like to make. One is that an example, in the weekend of April 10th, there was an alleged sexual assault against someone in the Los Angeles Unified School District. The school district called Peace Over Violence, a local organization, to come do prevention education immediately that week to help stabilize the campus, provide support to the students who needed it, and provide prevention education to the entire school. If SB 1300 is passed, that would not be possible. They would have to wait. They would have to send out a notification, which would be costly to the school. They would have to wait 14 days. So this is why we're concerned that it's going to lead to a decrease in the amount of education that pupils receive. Secondly, the California Department of Public Health has received a competitive grant from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to develop a statewide plan for addressing teen dating violence in California. That project is currently underway. My organization, Peace Over Violence, and Break the Cycle are all part of that statewide team. Recommendations are coming out in the fall. Break the Cycle has also received a federal grant to study state teen dating violence policies that have recently passed, to study their effects and to make recommendations about good state policy. So this bill...
Very good. I think we've got the point here.
Sure.
Thank you. I'd just like to say, and to the committee, I think this is very important, and I think the real issue here, and I think we need something now, is really about teaching young women. I mean, we're talking about one incident. This happens thousands and thousands of the time, to stand up for themselves and take control of their own lives. And it sounds like a pretty good bill to me.
Thank you, Senator. Let's see, then. We had testimony in favor, testimony opposed. Any additional opposed testimony on SB 1300? Finance, do you have a card? Okay. Then, without objection, members, that bill will go to suspense. And our next bill is 2 items by Senator Cedillo. SB 1104, coverage of diabetes complications. Is there testimony in favor of SB 1104? In favor. Is there opposition testimony to 1104? Seeing none, Finance, do you have a comment?
The associated costs with the measure are expected to be minor and absorbable to the Department of Mental Health Care and the Department of Insurance. However, we are concerned that it may not be consistent with the national health care reform, and we are trying to wade through that document.
All righty, without objection, then it will go to suspense. Next by Senator Cedillo is SB 1154, PUC earned income tax credits. Is there testimony in favor of earned income tax credits and PUC communications? Any testimony opposed? Seeing none, Finance, do you have a comment?
The PUC estimates that it would require 2 positions and $3.2 million from the Universal Lifeline Telephone Service Fund and another $195,000 from the PUC utility reimbursement account.
Righty, then, without objection, the item goes to suspense. That's SB 1154. Next, Senator Lowenthal, SB 1169, authorization having to do with mental health. Is there testimony in favor of SB 1169? Is there opposition testimony to 1169? Seeing none, Finance, do you have a comment?
I do not, Madam Chair.
All right, without objection, it goes to suspense. Next, Senator Woke has SB 1241, 1241, greenhouse gas emissions reductions. Is there testimony in favor? Is there opposition testimony? Finance, do you have a comment?
No file.
Without objection, then, it goes to suspense. Let's see, Senator Leno, SB 1291, chemicals and flame retardants. Is there testimony in favor? Is there opposition testimony? All righty. Opposition testimony?
Leslie, support.
All right, support. Go ahead. Give us your...
Leslie Daniel, Sierra Club, California. We're in support.
Thank you. Any other support? Opposition?
Madam Chair, members, Tim Shestak on behalf of the American Chemistry Council. There is a process underway at the Department of Toxics to prioritize potential chemicals of concern, conduct a scientific analysis, and regulate if necessary. That process is envisioned to also have a petition process. If chemicals of concern are identified, stakeholders want to petition the department to add additional chemicals or classes of chemicals for potential review under the Green Chemistry Initiative. That's going to be available, and for these reasons, we don't believe this bill is necessary. Thank you.
Alrighty. Additional testimony?
Mike Robeson on behalf of the Association of Woodworking and Furnishing Suppliers, and really the same comments that Mr. Shestak made, that we don't think the bill is necessary, and would only point out that the comments made in the consultant's analysis seem pretty right on, spot on, and that the department will either be required to use additional resources to evaluate the chemicals specified by this bill, or limit the evaluation of other chemicals identified under existing law. So we would think that the existing law would work. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony opposed? All righty. Senator Cox has a question.
Excuse me.
Mr. Gropson, you want to?
I wanted to inquire as to whether or not there are some retail outlets that have this product in their inventory that they cannot sell now because of the rules and regulations.
I'm not aware of.
Okay. Thank you.
Senator Leno.
If I may respond to Senator Cox's concern. Just that the federal government now has warned consumers not to purchase products which have a label that says the product complies with California's TB 117 because it may be dangerous to health. So this is a concern for consumers and for the marketplace.
Thank you, Senator Leno. Additional testimony for or against SB 1291, flame retardant. Seeing none. Did I get a comment from Finance?
No. To implement the bill, Toxics would require $728,000 from the Toxic Substances Control account annually for 2 limited-term positions and 6 permanent positions. The bill does not include a mechanism for additional revenue and would put cost pressure on that account, which currently suffers from a structural deficit.
All righty. Without objection, then that item goes to suspense. That's 1291. And then Mr. Leno's final item is SB 1413. This is schools, food service areas, and clean water. Is there testimony in favor of SB 1413 by Senator Leno? Please come on up and tell us your name.
Hi, my name is Karina Palomera, and I'm with the Environmental Working Group in support of SB 1413.
Thank you. Any other testimony in favor? Is there opposition testimony? Finance, do you have a comment?
I don't have a file on this measure.
All righty. This will go to suspense then. SB 1413 by Senator Leno. Senator Steinberg, this is SB 1283, coverage and the grievance system. Is there testimony in favor of Senator Steinberg's SB 1283? In favor. Is there opposition testimony? Seeing none, Finance, do you have a comment?
No file, Madam Chair.
All righty. Without objection, it goes to suspense. Let's see. Senator Romero's SB 1376, Aerospace Machining Program. Is there testimony in favor? Is there opposition testimony? Seeing none, Finance, do you have a comment?
No file, Madam Chair.
All righty. That goes to suspense as well. All right. I think we have a full complement here. If Senator Yee will return. Senator Yee? Sergeants? We have a couple more votes. You want to check outside? Okay. Right. Yeah. Senator Leno, when we get Senator Yee back, will you take Senator Wiggins' item? And then I have one I have to do if Senator Cox will chair.
Come on, Madam Chair, you take yours up now. You don't even have to leave the podium.
You can go ahead and do the suspense ones. Then we'll do yours, Senator Leno. I don't want to keep them all.
Senator Keogh, that would be 1340, would it, ma'am?
Thank you so much, Senator Cox. Members, this is the CEC and electric vehicle charging stations. It requires the CEC to create a cost-effective program from its existing alternative and renewable fuel and vehicle technology fund. There will be no general funds used. It will defray the costs of residential electrical upgrades that support electric vehicles purchased by consumers in our state, that is, plug-in electric vehicles. The success of transitioning to electric vehicles will depend on consumer confidence in being able to charge their cars at home, and this bill will expand that infrastructure development to those Californians that are going to be early adopters of electric vehicles. I would ask for your aye vote, and I have some testimony in
Senator,
favor.
thank you. And who will be first as far as the witnesses are concerned?
Delette Oldberg, representing Edison, in support of the bill.
All right. Can you pull that up just a little closer to you, though?
Yeah.
You're in favor of the bill?
Yes, in support.
Go ahead, sir.
Tom Addison with the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, here today in support on behalf of both the Bay Area Air District and the State Association of Air Pollution Agencies, CAPCOA.
All right. Any additional witnesses in favor? Any witnesses in opposition? And does the Finance Committee have a
There would be no fiscal impact resulting from this bill to the state.
Members of the committee have questions of the author, Ms. Keogh?
Move the bill.
All right, we have a motion to move the bill. Call the roll, please.
Kehoe?
Aye.
Kehoe, aye. Cox?
Aye.
Cox, aye. Alquist? Aye. Alquist, aye. Corbett, Denham, Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. Price? Aye. Price, aye. Walters? No. Walters, no. Wolk? Aye. Wolk, aye. Wyland? Yee?
Aye.
Yee, aye. 7-1, it's out.
7-1, that bill is out. Ms. Keogh?
Two suspense items.
That bill is out, and you have another item for suspense called 1414, Public Utilities Commission. Is that the one you're talking about, ma'am?
Yes,
All right, go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman, I'm not going to present on either of those. If you can just call for
Okay, are there any
opposition.
witnesses in favor? Witnesses in opposition? Finance have any report?
The measure would create costs of $1.7 million to the PUC's utility reimbursement account for 10 lawyers and 2 legal secretaries.
All right, thank you. Members of the committee have any questions? All right, this bill is off to suspense. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there one more, Senator?
And you have one more, which is 1455
And then there's two.
by Ms. Keogh, and that bill is about, well, it's about something. We'll go to the next page, which has to do with electric vehicles, electric vehicle owner education handbook. Go ahead, Ms. Keogh. That's going to.
I'm waiving presentation on that one too, Senator.
All right.
So if you can just call for witnesses.
We have any witnesses in favor? Any witnesses in opposition? We have any question, Finance Department?
The PUC has not provided us with a cost estimate at this point, but we estimate that the costs could be implemented within their existing resources.
All right. Ms. Keogh, this bill is off to suspense. Thank you, Senator. You bet.
All right. So then, Senator Leno, would you present Senator Wiggins' bill? And this is on motorist aid services. This is a due pass, members. And is that the final vote then?
That's it.
Okay, good. And all the other rules are filled, right?
Yes. With an amendment.
Whenever you're ready, Senator Leno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pleased to present this on behalf of Senator Wiggins. This bill really is about saving lives and about minimizing traffic congestion. The bill authorizes an existing local option fee increase to improve the operation and safety of our state highways. The goal of these SAFE programs, with this would give authority to expand, now almost 25 years old, is to maintain a motorist aid system that keeps freeways clear of hazards and quickly responds to freeway incidents in order to provide help as fast as possible and minimize the traffic congestion that can result. Roughly half of the traffic congestions on our highways is due not simply to too many cars being on the road at the same time, but due to accidents, debris, or other hazard. That's why SAFE funds are so critical. And it's important to note that any costs incurred by the California Highway Patrol and Caltrans in association with the SAFE program are fully reimbursable by the local fee, which this bill would authorize to be increased from $1 to $2, and the DMV indicates that any additional costs related to programming increases in the fees would be minor and recoverable from fee revenue. So I'd ask for your high support.
Thank you, Senator Leno. And are there witnesses?
John Arriaga on behalf of the Santa Cruz County Transportation Commission in support of the bill. We believe that it is well overdue for an update. It's permissible. The costs are minimal, and the board from these safes will make the decision as to any increase, the dollar increase, should it be needed.
Thank you. Next,
Madam
please.
Chair and members, Duncan McFetters representing the Metropolitan Transportation Commission in strong support of the bill.
Very good. Any additional testimony in favor? Is there opposition testimony? Seeing none. Finance, do you have a comment? All righty. There's no comment from Finance unless Senator Yee moves the bill. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Kehoe?
Aye.
Kehoe, aye. Cox?
No.
Cox, no. Alquist? Aye. Alquist, aye. Corbett? Denham? Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. Price?
Aye.
Price, aye. Walters?
No.
Walters, no. Wolk?
Aye.
Wolk, aye. Wyland? Wyland, no. Yee? Yee? Yee, aye.
That is it. Thank you, members. We're finished. The meeting's adjourned. See you.